various engineering college students, है ना?
Yes, sir. Faculty members, research scholars, and some students.
ठीक है.
Okay. So I Varun Kakar on behalf of the IEEE Uttar Pradesh section and IEEE Young Professionals Affinity Group Uttar Pradesh section welcome you all in this today's session on design thinking for frugal innovation that is supported and sponsored by IEEE Region 10, IEEE Young Professionals Region 10, and Upskills 2023. Today, we have Professor J. Ramkumar as an expert speaker for this particular lecture. Before starting the lecture, let me introduce Professor J. Ramkumar. Professor J. Ramkumar, Satish Chandra Galwar Chair Professor, has an experience of more than 2 decades in research, academia, and industry. He has been influential in developing tremendously accurate micro-nano machine processes which have been an integral part of the current age defense systems in the development of metamaterials for defense technology, unmanned air vehicle, machining process for aerospace and missile parts such as the components and shells used in the man-portable anti-tank guided missile. As a researcher, he has focused to use his knowledge and expertise to employ sympathy studies to cater the unmet needs of the deserving pupil. He has established assistive technologies in the locomotive and visual disability to overcome the architectural barriers and tools for the agri-tech. Since his inception at IIT Kanpur in the year 2003, his journey of research has employed good teaching learning practices with an ultimate motive of research and academics in an innovative manner so as to develop solutions with the increased efficiency of product and pose minimum damage to the environment. Imagineering Laboratory, Tinkering Lab Makers Space at the IIT Kanpur are all his brainchild that provides an ecosystem to cater to the requirements of the needful users, be it students, scholars, faculties, or for the project work across the country. Professor J. Ramkumar has 89 granted patents to his name. He has mentored and nourished more than 15 startups spread across the nation who had been exceptional in providing the novel products and have stepped up into the market. Professor J. Ramkumar is a frugal innovator with a deep interest in manufacturing, science, and in the trying time of the COVID brought many innovations which were used pan-India, like the Swasa masks and the Sanjeevani oxygen concentrator, were a blessing for the front runners and the hospitals. He has brought 8 MOOCs courses having over 48 lakh views, including international audience, conducted and organized 100 plus workshops in the area of design thinking to propagate science and research among the students, scholars, industrial practitioners, and faculties. Owing to his ingenious and inquisitive contributions, it would not be an overstate to say that Professor J. Ramkumar's name is now synonymous to manufacturing engineering in the research community. With this, I now welcome Professor J. Ramkumar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Varun. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much for giving introduction. I don't think I deserve such long introduction. So good morning to you all. So this is Savan month and a lot of you would have got the blessings and shower of Lord Shiva. I wish, pray you, your family, your friend circle, everybody gets the blessing of God so that we all prosper together for a better future. To the organizing team, for the host institute, and for the faculty members, student volunteers who have been working round the clock for making sure this event happens. So thanks to all of you. And the last thanks is to those people who decided to call me for this talk. Thank you to all of you. So today I am focusing on a topic called as design thinking for frugal innovation. So first, let us go. Is a big difference between invention and innovation. When we talk about invention, it is trying to find out something new where there need not be a customer right front. When we talk about innovation, you don't do something new, you do cut and paste across technologies, across science, across departments, whatever it is, and develop a solution which is new of its kind, but there is somebody to give money and take the solution. For example, if you could make a tela wherein which you can make 150 different types of tikki. How do you, a tikki is same, the added ingredients of varying masalas and other things, sweet, hot, whatever you do, and you are able to give to customers need as maybe 100 different types. So that is innovation. So wherein which there are customers to buy your end solution and then they are ready to eat, you get an innovation for which if you want to apply patent, you can apply patent and you try to protect your idea. What is frugal? Frugal means it is with minimum resources you are trying to produce. For example, under frugal comes sustainability, under frugal comes clean energy, green energy, whatever you say, everything comes under frugal. Nano car is a frugal innovation. Mitti cool is a frugal innovation, wherein which the output is the same. There is a small relax in the output, but the product reliability, repeatability is there. That is frugal innovation. Trying to produce a nail cutter with only nail cutting and nail scrubbing. That is a frugal innovation. Right? In the nail cutter, trying to integrate a screwdriver and a nail cutting, innovation. Trying to magnetize the tip of the screwdriver, frugal innovation, because I can hold it and then I can use it for fastening, frugal innovation. Attaching bathroom to the western toilet to the bedroom is a frugal innovation. In the olden days, the bathroom used to be way far away from your house because of hygiene reasons. Then it was thought of integral part, then of your house. Then the next step is integrating it next to your bedroom. Think of it, how much of paradigm change has happened. So that is a frugal innovation. So there is something which minimum energy you try to produce an output, and for the output whatever you produce, there is somebody to buy. That is frugal innovation. How do I do this frugal innovation? There are several tools, and one such tool is design thinking. Design thinking is a very powerful tool wherein which it leads to several frugal innovation, both in corporate world, social innovation, and as well as also in the service industry. So this is frugal innovation using design thinking approach. So, what is frugal? What is design thinking? The iterative design process, which helps the designer to involve clients and customers in a meaningful way, is design thinking. It is not a strategy to come up with a feasible solution, but to come up with an optimum solution. See, in operation research or even in real time, for solving a problem, you will have n number of solutions. So all the n number of solutions are called as feasible solutions. But there will be only one optimum solution that is called as a viable solution. For example, if you want to move from Kanpur to Delhi, you can walk, you can run, you can cycle, you can go by car, you can go by train, you can go by flight, you can go by bus. Okay, so there are n number of ways you can reach Delhi. But now the next condition, if I say within 6 hours, within 10 hours, within 12 hours, overnight journey. So then you will try to do in that n number of solutions, which solution will have a very minimum costing, and I will also have a better comfort. So costing, comfort, I will try to pick one. So that is called as a viable solution. So design thinking is a process, is a iterative design process. Point number one, it will always try to give you a viable solution. So now let us see what is design thinking. Definition which is given by and large. This is design thinking is a blend of logic, powerful imagination, systematic reasoning, and intuition. Look at all the words: logical, imagination, systematic reasoning, intuition, to bring to the table the idea that promises to solve the problem with a desirable outcome. So this is called as design thinking. So as a process of frugal innovation, we will try to see discover new business models, reconfiguring reconfiguring value chain, redesigning products to serve user who face extreme affordable constraints in a scalable and a sustainable manner. That's what I have put in a very, very simple words, that please try to do in an energy efficient way. It can be conserving power, conserving water, it can be conserving space, whatever it is. So you conserve it and then do it. It involves either overcoming or tapping institutional voids, resource constraints to create a more inclusive market. Simply, frugal innovation provides functional solutions through few resources for the many who have little means. So, if you look at it in real time, the economic distribution of population, they will always try to talk about a pyramid. So the pyramid will be divided into three parts: bottom of the pyramid, mid of the pyramid, top of the pyramid. Many a times, the company products will always be trying to hit at mid of the pyramid and top of the pyramid, wherein which these two population put together will not be more than 10% or 15%. Majority of the population will be below the power, will be bottom of the pyramid. This bottom of the pyramid there will be a lot of people. They will be ready to give money, but they will have a limited money. So that is what I said. You are trying to develop solutions through few resources for many who have little means. So there are 5 principles to do frugal innovation. So the first principle is going to be do more with less. For example, nano car. Nano car had a function of a car. It had a motor. You can see Indians taking that nano car and traveling through highway, going at a speed of 80, 90 kilometers. 4 of them can happily sit. Large footrest space was there. Large space. The dicky space where they used to keep luggage was good enough for 4 people to travel for 2 or 3 days. And on top of it, you can even take 5 people. It had a good mileage and it occupied a minimum space. Parking was very easy. So do more with less. Keep it as simple as possible. This is the second biggest principle which we always try to follow in frugal innovation. So here we try to keep the design, whatever we do, as simple as possible, so that you can try to do things much faster. The third one is think and act flexible. So look at the things. Look at the things which are going around. Try to adopt. Varun, if you can mute that participant, that will be nice. So think and act flexible. So what does it mean is you are supposed to be as adaptive as possible. So you, by looking at the solution, you just relook into it and then you start saying, what is it? How is it? How do you go about? And then you try to solve it. So think and act flexible. Then seek opportunities in adversity. Whenever there is lot of constraint, then you start using frugal innovation. For example, many a times Uttarakhand region gets into lot of flood. So there will be water all around, water, but there will be no drinking water. Now you look at it, how do you convert it, a flood water into a drinking water? That is, look for an opportunity in a very adverse condition. And the last one is follow your heart. That means to say, you try to do a gut feel act and then you try to develop whatever it is. So these are the 5 strong guiding principles for frugal innovation. Friends, our country today needs a lot of frugal innovation. Prime Minister and the ministry are very eagerly pushing to innovate a lot of things through frugal. all the Smart India hackathons which Government of India runs, it is all looking forward for a frugal innovation, wherein which we develop technological innovation in an intervention for a social problem. They want us to promote social innovation. India is a country where there are lot of problem statements, and lot of problem solvers are also there. So each one of you are creative. Each one of you are capable. So please try to look forward for a frugal innovation. And staying in hills, you have humpty number of problems which is not faced in the land. For example, at Kanpur, whatever is the problem statement, I would say we are living in a happy life when you are trying to live in the Pahad. So there are every small things which can be done. Let me tell you, Anit, let me give you 2, 3 examples. The honey hive, whichever is there in the tree, where in which we try to extract honey. First of all, it tries to build this honey hive not in a flat plane. It tries to build it on top of a tree in a extreme corner. Accessibility becomes a problem. That is one. So the next point, the next important point is, okay, how do you cut the honey hive? And here you should be very clear. The honey hive, if you try to completely cut the honey hive, you disturb the family. So without disturbing the family, you have to extract the honey. The third thing is, the honey, whatever you suppose you try to see, you cut off the honey from the tree by some means, and then also what will happen? The next round of honey will be constructed in the same place. How do I stop this to happen? So can I use a drone? Can I use something else? And how do I fumigate it? And when I fumigate it, you should also make sure that you don't destroy the honey hive basic structure, right? And you cannot kill all the honey, because these honey bees are going to give you the next set of honey hive. So this is an interesting problem which you can think of in the hilly regions. How do I do it? So let us look into features of design thinking. It is finding simplicity in complexity is the biggest advantage of design thinking. It is having beautiful and aesthetic appeal products can be developed as a feature of design thinking. So that is possible. Then improving clients and user quality of experience is the other feature. Creating, innovating, creating, innovating, innovating feasible, viable solution to real world problems are there. And the next one is going to be is addressing the actual requirements of the end user. So these are some of the features of design thinking. So this is very important. Next is design thinking helps in optimizing, in developing, in filtering, in converting, in connecting, in using. Design thinking helps to optimize, develop, filter, convert, connect, and using. Look at some of the innovations which has happened here. See, you have a lemon. This lemon has a juice in it. So now the process is you try to cut the lemon, try to squeeze the lemon, put it inside a bottle, and then you attach a dispenser for it, and then you dispense lemon juice or orange juice, whatever it is. What if we directly have something which dispenses by inserting inside a fruit? And in innovative thinking, wonderful thinking, lot of applications are there. So you can do it for orange, you can do it for apple, you can do it for whatever it is. So that is a wonderful technology. Does this exist? No, it does not, but people are thinking forward for it. The next thing is, look at the way, how do you use it? So this is very much useful for those people who are day in and day out working with eggs. So you have to remove the yolk and then albumin. So here is a technique which is used. The innovative thinking over this portion is there are several connections which are there, which is to be given to an Apple phone. They have the accessibility of these things are going to be really tough, and the wires get entangled. So can I develop something which can help me in facilitating? So this is what it is. And this is a Swiss knife which you have seen in the which you have seen in the real world. So this is the one thing. Next is in design thinking, we always try to use divergent thinking. Put anything that comes to your mind about the problem statement, relevant or irrelevant. So what happens is you are given a problem and you are trying to develop humpty number of solutions. These humpty number of solutions and the divergent thinking don't try to think of cutting down any idea. Every idea is an idea. There is nothing called as a stupid idea. That is what we are saying here in divergent thinking. So divergent thinking is a process of diversing more than one solution for a problem statement. It refers to the thought process of generating creative solutions. So divergent thinking means it tries to give you free flow of ideas. It tries to give you free flow of ideas. It tries to do unexpected connections. It tries to establish. And the other thing is non-linear thinking. And then you have multiple ideas. So all these things lead to the divergent thinking. So this is very, very important. So and after this divergent thinking, there is something called as a convergent thinking. So what is convergent thinking? Convergent thinking means from the developed ideas, you try to choose one or two better ideas and then start focusing on those ideas. So those things are called as convergent thinking. In convergent thinking, the concept of whatever diverged ideas you have, from those you try to put a filter, which is a dotted line. Convergent thinking requires speed, accuracy, efficiency, logical reasoning, and techniques. So finally, the principal aspect of convergent thinking, this part is convergent thinking, is that it should help us arrive at a single best solution without any room for ambiguity. This has to be there. Here, you try to generate more and more and more ideas. Here, from those ideas, you put a filter and try to come up with the best idea. So first, what happened was you put all ideas, whatever comes to your mind, and the next thing is going to be you try to have all these ideas which are aligned together. Where the ideas align together. So this is very important. So first you had all ideas placed together. Now you cluster the ideas and place it all the ideas one above each other. So now what are the principles of design thinking? It always gives you a tangible rule. It follows human rule. It always have ambiguity rule, and it also has a rule of redesigning. What is human rule? The rule states that all kinds of design activity are ultimately social in nature. So you are trying to develop a social innovation. Ambiguity rule. The rule requires all designers thinking to preserve ambiguity in the process of design thinking. What is redesigning? The redesigning rule states that all design are basically examples of redesigning. And tangible rule is the product should always be tangible, states that making ideas tangible always facilitates communication between the design thinking. So what are the 5 steps which are involved in design thinking? The 5 steps which are involved in design thinking are: you empathize. What is empathize? You try to see what is the problem statement, how are the problems faced by the community. You blindfold yourself and then you become a customer and you wear the shoe of a customer. For example, if you are trying to develop a product for age-old people, for example, some people above 70 years old. So how do you design a cell phone for them? You can't use the same cell phone what you're using now. So that is what is that. So empathy study means you blindfold yourself. You become like a aged person. You try to become like a illiterate person. You try to do what the people are doing in their own style, not in your own style. For example, if you are trying to look at the people below the poverty line whose livelihood is under stake, who cannot even earn 200 rupees a day. So what you do is you go to their house and stay along with them and see what all difficulties they face through, how are they are tackling it, where is the scope for them improving, and how can a technological intervention help them. So that is empathy study. Empathy study is nothing but have a deeper understanding of the challenge. See, for doing all these things, you should have a very good observational skills, and you should also have a problem solving skills. So these two are mandate. So you should have these two, and then you should try to do. So that is one. And the next one is going to be definition. So for whatever problem you have gone through, you have seen it, empathized, then what you do is you try to define, clearly articulate. Okay, so clearly articulate the problem. So the articulation, clearly articulation, the drafting of the problem is called as articulation. So that is called the definition of the problem, right? So defining, so what would you like to do? See, many a times in engineering, in engineering, what happens, there will be somebody, to take care of giving the problem statement. So that is called the definition. So once you have defined the problem statement, there are so once the problem statement is done, so then what we do is we will try to uh, look for possible solutions. So the possible solutions are, mm, the is called as ideation. So in the brainstorming, so in the ideation stage, we will have several brainstorming sessions. So these brainstorming sessions are those which will try to help you in generating multiple ideas. So these ideas, whatever it is used later down the line to select the to select what is required. So that is called as the brainstorming session. So ideation, you try to, for a simple problem, you try to develop some close to 100 ideas. So these ideas are later. This is what is divergent thinking. You try to develop as many ideas as possible, and then what you do is you try to filter them, converge, and make prototypes. The prototypes can be made both physical as virtual. So using this physical and virtual prototype, you can try to understand and have a feel for the product. Once you have made the physical prototype, then the next thing what you have to do is you have to test your prototype with the customer. So that is called as the testing phase. So the testing phase is showing it to the customer and then asking them to relook into the idea. So this is called as the design thinking steps. So these are the 5 steps. These 5 are going to be very important, and this is all going to help us in working in the process called as design thinking. So you empathize, you define, you ideate, you prototype, and then you test it. So these are the 5 things which are very important. So to follow these steps, we should have certain things. So what are they? The first thing is all the problem definitions or this thing, whatever you do, we should have a human-centric approach. What is human-centric approach? You should have the problem, whatever you try to solve, has to have something where you can think, work along with the human, and then do it. Next thing is you have to be mindful. So you have to be mindful in your process. The third one, you have to look for radial collaboration. So you have to work in team. That is what it is. It's not an individual project. It is a team. So it is radical collaboration. Then you should have a culture of making prototype rather than just talking. The next one is going to be biased towards action. You should always keep moving out of your action so that you try to have more more and more idea and other things. So you should not have a bias. So you should have bias towards action, means you should move and then start doing it. Finally, show, don't tell anything to the customers. So by doing so, you will try to have a clear design thinking approach. Setup will be ready for you, and then you can start solving problems. Okay, so you have to be human centric. It has to be mindful of process, radical collaboration, culture of prototyping, bias towards action, and show, don't tell. So the first step, whatever I was talking about, is empathy study. So in empathy study, what you do is you try to be look at the customer and try to see what does he say, what does he think, what does he do, and what does he feel. Think and feel are is going to be a little tough, but you are supposed to do it. Say, think, do, and feel. For example, every day morning, if your father scolds you, or if your father says don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, then so first thing is, what do you say is, you will say please don't say anything. That is saying. And so based upon whatever he says, then immediately you just walk out of the place. That is doing. And whatever comes to your mind is, okay, whenever I do something my father keeps doing, he does not understand, so that is thinking. Feeling is the frustration. So this, you see, for a single activity a customer undergoes all these things. So that is called as mind mapping, or that is called as empathy mapping. So these are some of the questions which you have to ask. You have to observe, you have to engage, you have to listen, you have to motivate them to work, you have to time of leaving the company, and then employee attributes, knowledge transfer. These are all examples which you can ask for a customer or an employee who is working in a company, how to improve his productivity. So here empathy study is this stage. So you have done all the empathy study. In the next stage is you are going to go to definition stage. In the definition stage, how might we amplify the good? How might we eliminate the bad? Explore the opposite. Assume a question of assumption. Identify the unexpected resources. Create an analogy. Break the problem into pieces. So this is called, then you all get into one thing which is called as coherent thinking. So this is called definition of the problem. You should try to amplify good, eliminate bad, explore opposite questions, identify unexpected resources, analogy, and break. This leads to coherent single standing point. So the next stage, whatever we were discussing, is ideation. So in ideation stage, as many ideas as possible. So and amplify good and eliminate bad. So explore opposites and questions, identify unexpected resources, and analyze. So all these things will lead to ideation stage. So you, in ideation stage, you will have a tool called as mind mapping. So mind mapping, basically what you do is you have objective. These are sub objectives. For these objectives, you have sub objectives. So you will see how all those things lead to the final solution. When you do ideation, it is brainstorming sessions will be do. So in brainstorming sessions, certain rules have to be followed. So only one conversation happens. Focus only on the quality and quantity, and not on quality. Think out of the box. Don't if you are supposed to judge, defer the judgment. Don't be mm, judgmental. Now visualization is important. Build on others' idea is also important. These are the rules which are part of the brainstorming sessions. Then these are some more rules of the brainstorming sessions. So you try to use different colors and other things. So then you make prototype to ideate and problem solve. You make a prototype to communicate, to start conversing, to fail quickly and cheaply, to test possibilities, and to manage solution building process. So all these things are prototyping stage. So this is why a prototyping stage is required. The most important thing is to fail quickly and cheaply. We do prototypes. So some of the prototyping devices which are used, so for making a prototype like this, see, like for example, you try to make a wireframe model. So what is the first in your app first page? What does it show? Second page, what does it show? Something like that. So for doing it, all these prototypes are used. So the prototyping stage, why? Because it helps in creation of experience, getting feedback and iteration. So you can also use in prototyping stage several of the Lego boxes, this, that, and all, and then you can try to solve problems for it. Then in the testing phase, what you do is this testing phase, you try to look at the problem solving, and then you try to see what is to be done. So this is how the testing stage happens. Empathy study, you do a lot of understanding. Then you use converging for defining the problem. Then you try to diversify when you do ideate, and then when you do prototyping, you again converge, and then you try to take a test or a testing of the stage or the feedback stage. And at the end of the stage, what happens is you realize that you did not do proper empathy study. So you will undergo 3-4 iterations like this, and you try to go towards the solution. People call this technique as design thinking. Some people call it as double diamond. So all these things are finally the same. Okay. So the testing phase, these are some of the testing phase. What do you do? How to test? How it is all there. So design thinking application in education, there has been Stanford University Grad School of Education has Red Lab, which is a group which conduct research on how to apply design thinking in kindergarten, first to 12th standard they do, and this is Red Lab group's approach. The next is Atal Tinkering Lab, which is also in the similar lines of the design thinking approach, Government of India's initiative. Here, students of Stella a higher secondary school of Kohima are involved in Atal Tinkering Lab, trying to solve the problems which are based only for them. So the next is IDEO. IDEO is very much used. So it is a result of its partnership program, Human-Centered Design Thinking Toolkit was developed with them. How do we use design thinking for solving social innovation or developing social innovation problems? IDEO was used, and they used this for developing it. The next one is Nandi Foundation. Nandi Foundation is in Hyderabad. They started here affordable clean drinking water. They started water ATMs so that you can try to pay money and then try to get water to whatever you need, 10 liters, 15 liters, 100 liters. So this made a wonderful business, and they have made several scale-up models. Nandi Foundation, which is a social innovation, which is leading to affordable issues and accessibility issues. The next one is a social innovation which has happened. Every year in India, 5.6 million babies are dead because of hypothermia. Hypothermia means it is a cold fever. So, and the moment it is cold fever comes, they put in the incubator, they try to have a long struggle with the baby, and then they try to survive. So the simplest and the easiest way is try to take a cotton cloth, and then this cotton cloth is wrapped around the baby in such a way such that it tries to maintain the warmth, and you try to save the baby. This is a innovation which has happened, or which has been done by a student of Stanford who came to India under Biodesign program, which is jointly hosted between AIMS and Stanford University. They developed this innovation. So this was again using design thinking approach. It is an affordable solution. The load carrying by women, this is a very normal scenario. You see, Indian women carry a lot of load on the head. Taking a lot of load on the head leads to a spinal cord damage, then leading to a backache problem. This leads them to immobility. So in order to reduce this problem, there is a design thinking approach, and there is an innovative solution which was designed and created by Vikram Dinubai Panchal of the NID, which costed only 300 rupees. So she made up using bamboo, which is available, and she made an affordable solution. So now here you see the load is transferred from the head to the shoulders. So there is no load coming to the head, and the entire load is coming to the shoulders. The shoulder can take heavy loads, and there is no hit of the spinal cord. So this is a way design thinking approach which this girl has done it in the recent times, which is a breakthrough happening. The next one is example of design thinking approach. A lady of Rajasthan, she used to walk several distances and carrying clean drinking water across the desert for her area. But this lady, after seeing IPL match, thought that why don't I make a rolling tunky so that this can be rolled and I can take more water and then walk through. So this is an innovation which is done again through design thinking approach. This is a cutting paddy or wheat through heat sinker. So this was now changed by using design thinking approach by a flexible handheld cutter. So here efficiency improves and it is making it faster. So Winnick Family Clinic is something which is again following design thinking approach. The innovator of Winnick Family Clinic found a pit crews at auto race worked in coordinating manner to save every fraction of a second. So they thought if the model could be replicated at several places, they can do. It is more of a model which is a clinic which is on move. So this is a clean drinking water. The principle was developed. The company which developed was Lifestar. The Lifestar company made a filter which is passive and which can filter 1,000 liters, which is good enough for 1 year. So for a single person, how do they convert to a water into a portable water, which will remove all the waterborne bacteria and parasites? Again, a design thinking approach was used. This is a Bonic boot, which is developed again using design thinking. At one point of time, people thought they will not walk. They have difficulty in walking. Now they have an accelerated walk. Tremendous.
The
So,
IIT
Jugaad, Varun, if you can help in muting. Okay, so frugal, flexible, and inclusive. Put together comes Jugaad. Indians are very good in Jugaad. So these are some of the frugal innovation which is done in India. So we have Chutti Cool, then we have Tata Nano, then we have the next step of frugal innovation is Jugaad. From a bike. They attach it to a motor. A bike is used for doing ploughing operation. A bike which is trying to get fitted to a trolley, and that trolley you pack big things. So this is all frugal innovation, wherein which it comes from frugal, flexible, inclusive, which is called as Jugaad. These are some of the frugal innovation Chingdo techniques. So these Chingdo techniques are basically Japanese techniques, which they will allow you to make crazy ideas, and then they try to make these crazy ideas. For example, can we have a butter stick? Can we have an umbrella which can help in water collection? So these are all design thinking approach for social innovation. Can we have a brush paste wherein which the bristles are here and this becomes a brush? So this is a frugal innovation. Attaching a fan to the chopstick so that they can try to have a cool udon for eating. Again, a design thinking approach. So finally, to complete, design thinking has divergence and convergence. Design challenge, which you try to research, synthesize, you converge, then you ideate, you prototype, then you converge, you test, and then you refine and then deliver. So this is an iterative process. In this process, it is more of inspiration. In this process, it is more of ideation, and this process is more of implementation. So to conclude, in empathy stage, you try to understand the problem. In definition stage, you define the problem. In ideate, you do brainstorming and develop hundreds of ideas, wherein which you diverge. Then in the next stage, you make prototypes, you converge and make wonderful prototypes. Whatever prototype you make, you test it with the customers, and then you try to go for full scale. If the end user does not approve the solution of your test and the testing phase, then what is left with you is you reiterate and do empathy study once again to reach towards your goal. So thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I would be happy to take questions if there are any. Arun?
So I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead. It will be nice if you can introduce yourself with your designation, organization, and then go with your question.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for giving me the opportunity to ask the question. I am Dr. Shiminder. Am I audible to all?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, so I am Dr. Shiminder from Chitkara University, working as assistant professor in EC, Electronics and Communication. Okay. So, sir, right now I'm taking up this course. I'll be taking up this course in the coming months, design thinking course. But I wanted to ask you that how can I encourage and motivate my students to think design thinking in the field of engineering, to be specific in electronics engineering?
Yeah, yeah. See, madam, there are humpty number of challenges which are there. For example, you can try to ask them to develop a point of care device wherein which it can be used for finding out some disease. If you think that is a higher end, so can you think of integrating an IoT sensor to a tap which is used in every schools so that the water leakage can be reduced? Second thing is, can you think of integrating a sensor to Swachh Bharat toilets which are spread across the districts? So that is two. Problem number three is, can you think of a device wherein which it can measure a temperature below 98.4? So can you think of developing a smartphone which can be or a device or an electronics wherein which you can try to extend the longevity of milk for by another 36 hours? Can you think of developing a small setup wherein which the fruits can be enhanced by its longevity by 36 hours or for 72 hours? Can you think of developing a warmer which can be put at the foot so that the doctors don't get cold feet? Can you think of developing a small device wherein which you can try?
Sir, good morning, sir.
Can you think of even taking, just last thing, can you think of even taking a pencil box wherein which the pencil box tries to say there is a missing pencil, so that the kid tries to get to see the buzzer or the light or something, so that it tries to find out where the pencil is and placing it back. There are humpty number of solutions, madam. Humpty number of problems. Can you think of an electronic device wherein which it can measure the combustion at your kitchen? Can you try to develop a device wherein which the carbon dioxide in the kitchen can be monitored? Is that sufficient for you? Problem statements?
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Sir, good morning,
Thank
sir.
you. Yeah, good
Sir,
morning.
good morning, sir.
Go ahead. Good morning.
Sir, myself, Dr. S. Muthu Vijayapannan, Professor, SNS Institution, working in HiGUP, sir. We are implementing design thinking based curriculum for all the UG programs and allied courses, sir. We are referring, our management is keen on referring the Stanford University as the reference or STU as the reference, sir. My first question is, nowadays open AI, that is ChatGPT, is emerging in all fields, sir. So what will happen to this emerging technology like OpenAI will overcome in the practical difficulties in our design thinking based innovation, sir?
No, sir. See, for example, we all had a mobile phone. In the initial days in the mobile phone, we used to type words, right? So, and
Yes, sir.
then came an autocorrect. So now, because of this autocorrect, we are using it for the betterment. We are able to communicate much faster. So
Okay.
Chat GPT or OpenAI, whatever you say, these are all aids. See, when the first time calculator came, people cursed calculator like anything. Today, calculator has become integral part of our life.
Okay, sir.
Isn't it? The first time when the mobile phone came, people cursed mobile phone. Now it has become part and parcel of life. So technologies has to be used for betterment, and technologies have to be used for the growing society. Technology should be used for the growing society. So never think technology as a hindrance. The only thing I understand what you say is, yes, if there is lot of things which comes like this, what happens to the placement? The place, it is true, there will be survival of the fittest.
Okay.
When the hand pulled rickshaws were there, and when it was converted into auto, there were a lot of people who lost job. Many people died starving. That is
Okay,
true.
sir.
Now, after the auto, then came the next era of taxi. When the taxi came, auto fellows died. Many of them died. Then when the taxi has come now the next era is now going to come, which is going to be human lift drones. That is going to be the next thing which comes. So the only thing what you have to tell your students is, students, see, this is how the world is moving. So try to use all these things for the benefit of mankind, and never be judged. If you you being a faculty or I being a faculty, we start looking at the opponent and judgmentally say you are useless, you are a thief, you will misuse it, then there is no end to it. So go ahead, give them the technology. See, nowadays when I teach in the class, initially I used to say don't bring the mobile phone to your class. Now after COVID, it has become part and parcel of life. So now what I do is I teach something in the class, I take a pause, I give them a small definition, ask them, everybody in the class, to use their mobile phone, browse it, and try to get.
Hello, sir.
Then I will tell them in the class, see, Google gives you humpty number of things which is not consistent, and the consistent definition is going to be this. Use technology to derive, to extract data. From the extracted data, you should teach information.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for your kind information for our Lemon institution. Before going to 1 week, sir, we are conducting design thinking boot camp for every year, sir, for the benefit of the students, sir. In our SNS institution, before, for example, the first year students coming into the campus, first 1 week we are conducting design thinking boot camp. The students, after attending the 1 week, they will develop the small prototypes, sir.
Very good. Very
then
good.
Only we are entering the students to the class, sir.
Yeah, congratulations, and please try to spread the knowledge to others. So now we see two things are coming. Engineering is becoming alarming now. So that means to say not many people are taking engineering. Point number one. Point number two is we have to say engineering is a powerful profession. So for that, design thinking tool and practices are very much required. I really appreciate, I congratulate your management, and please keep continuing the same.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Varun. Thank you for the opportunity. I wish you all good luck. So, and
thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Happy Savan and good luck. Have a nice week to go ahead in this course. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. The lecture is over. All the participants may now leave the room. For the next upcoming session, we will communicate you through the email. Thank you.
Varun sir, can we get the recording of this session?
Yes, ma'am. The recording of all the lectures will be uploaded on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions from the participants who want to ask anything about this professional or technical lecture series?